Coming up on Mountain News this morning, schools in our region implement a new program to help kids stay in school after being exposed to COVID. And a new shop opens up in the Commonwealth after one family nearly experiences a tragic event.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Well, good morning to you. It's just before 5 o'clock on this Tuesday morning. I'm Dakota Makris, and let's head over to Brandon for a look at your forecast. Brandon, another cold start to the morning. I think I'm going to be saying that for the next, few months.
Yes,
so.
I think you're right. And there may be times where it's like another snowy start to the morning, another, frosty start to the morning.
You know how I'm about the snow.
Exactly. Well, we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
It's just cold this morning. Some patchy frost could be out there in some spots. But let's take a look at the fog so far this morning. And you see just a little bit of a dense fog in some locations there, like Williamsburg and Somerset, Jacksboro, down toward Middlesboro and Harlan, up toward Logan. But again, it's here in Hazard. It's over in Letcher County. Just be aware that it's out there this morning. Couple 30s, actually 3 30s already this morning. 39 in Wise, 37 Jonesville, 39 in Monticello. Everybody else for the most part is in the low 40s, but you see some upper 40s there. Prestonsburg, Jackson, Pikeville. Remember, those sensors are at their airports, which are higher up, and those ridges definitely a little bit warmer than the valleys this morning. A little extra on your coffee meter, and maybe 2 max warming needed. All depends on what you got, because it's Monday 2.0, so coffee is always a good thing. Out the door forecast, another gorgeous day on the way, but some changes are coming as we get up into the 70s today, low 70s for the most part, which is above average, by the way. So we're going to continue to watch that trend and see how it plays out. I'll talk more about the extended forecast coming up here in just a little bit. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you. Well, since the pandemic began, efforts are being made to keep students and staff at schools. Test to Stay is one of the newest resources to ensure schools continue operating in person. Our Jade Saylor talked with superintendents in our area about how the program has benefited their schools.
Test to Stay allows students and staff that might be exposed to COVID to be tested outside of school in the morning, rather than doing the traditional quarantine, whether they have COVID or not.
Everyone has been able to continue to go to school and continue to work, even though they were identified as a close contact. And so it's been great in terms of being able to keep our staff going.
Those that believe they were exposed arrive to school early and stay in their car until the testing is complete.
We would have our health services staff, which is through Clover Fork Clinic, go out and swab them, and then 10 or 15 minutes later, they'd get the results. If they're negative, then they would just come to school.
Harlan Independent Superintendent C.D. Morton says in-person learning is more valuable for everyone.
We are able to get more kids in the building. We're able to have our teachers teaching classrooms every day, and we think that's where the magic happens.
School staff in our region are seeing great success in the Test to Stay program.
Overwhelmingly, this has been a success, just keeping kids in class and not at home.
The goal around the world is to get back to normal, and Test to Stay is a step in the right direction for these schools.
We need to get back to as much normal as we can, which normal is kids going to school, parents getting to go to work, and we're using Test to Stay to help us in Whitley County continue to do those two things.
Both Harlan Independent and Whitley County are only seeing a few positive cases since the program began. Jade Saylor, WYMT Mountain News.
Harlan Independent Superintendent C.D. Morton says students and staff test for 5 days after the first negative to lessen the chance of false negatives and spreading the disease. Well, this past weekend was a big one for UK athletics. Rupp Arena hosted Big Blue Madness for the start of the basketball season. Masks were required to go in the arena and during the game, but it didn't look like many fans followed that university policy. We talked to officials at UK Athletics. Now they hope more fans will mask up for future games because this will be the policy all season. And the U.S. Food and Drug Administration could allow people to mix and match COVID-19 shots for a booster. The New York Times reports the agency is preparing to okay getting a different brand of booster shot than the one the person initially received. The National Institutes of Health presented early information to the FDA's vaccine advisors Friday. The information is from an ongoing study showing it didn't matter which vaccine people got first versus which booster they got. Any combination was deemed safe and showed a revved up immune response. Mixing boosters may also provide a strong response to the Delta variant. Well, yesterday, our region had 7 counties in the orange zone and 1 county in the yellow, marking more progress in the battle against COVID-19. Now, Governor Andy Beshear announced 678 new cases of COVID yesterday, increasing the statewide total to 727,125. There were 31 new deaths as well, bringing the death toll to 9,396. The positivity rate continues to decrease and it is now around 7.4%. You can always find the latest COVID-19 information over on our website at WYMT.com. A new children's resale and consignment shop will soon open in Corbin, but the inspiration behind the new shop is heartwarming. The last few months were scary for Corbin native Erin Peters and her family. All of her family, including herself, contracted COVID-19. Complications caused her to prematurely give birth to her son Moses. Now, despite the scary encounter, she's looking ahead to the future and will soon proudly open Noah and Moses's in honor of her children.
And just to parents experiencing something similar to his story, it's okay to grieve. Don't feel guilty about that. That's a normal part of this process. Feel what you need to feel.
Peters says for updates on the shop, people can follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Well, you might notice more for hire signs at businesses across our region as employees are having a hard time finding workers. Alan Woodson with Magic Monograms in Somerset says he had 5 interviews scheduled and all applicants were no-shows. He turned to posting job post openings on his personal Facebook page in hopes it would get more views, and it has nearly 300 shares. He also adds, on top of this, he is also seeing supply chain issues.
It's pretty brutal to get product, to get t-shirts, to get polos, certain brands, bags, pretty much anything that our consumers demand, our corporate clients demand.
Now, Woodson says other local business owners he's talked to are also facing the same issues when it comes to finding workers and supply chain problems. Well, thank you so much for getting your Tuesday started with us here on Mountain News this morning. When we come back, a retired astronaut speaks about his out-of-this-world experience at the 2021 SOAR Summit.
So, a chilly start this morning, but we're looking for another beautiful day ahead. Unfortunately, some changes are on the way. I know. I'll have the latest in about 3 minutes.